from the companies that brought you disappointment and the creators that brought you scammage. We now present to you disappointing scammage. May or may not be a scam. You must check all information, description box below. Hey Grains, there's nothing I love more than the same product twice. Mind you, I did buy both of them on purpose because they're both slime packs by the exact same brand, Brandable, for KARINA GARCIA and for Guava juice. The reason I bought these slime kits is because both of them boast to be breakfast-inspired slime. So these are pre-made slimes, so there's no way that any of you can be like,
"You did it all wrong, Jakey. You didn't follow the instructions."
No. These are pre-made slimes that we're going to unpack and pin against each other. Even though they're the same company, I do want to focus on the theme of breakfast. Each one of these kits cost me $7.99 US, and they both have exactly the same amount of slime, about 85 grams each. I can tell you right off the bat, if we're going to just go by the theme of breakfast, let's take a look at the flavors. Let's look at the Craft City KARINA GARCIA one. This one has coffee and cinnamon donut. That really does sound like a typical North American-ish breakfast, you know, when you're rushing to get to work. So I would have to give this a pass. Now on to the Guava Juice slime pack. This one boasts in the sense of maple syrup and blueberry. Something is a little off. Now, if we're going to talk about maple syrup, shouldn't we be talking about pancakes? But maple syrup on its own is fine. The issue I have here is with the fact that it's blueberry. Shouldn't it technically be blueberry pancake and maple syrup? The combination in itself does seem a little lazy and a little less cohesive than the coffee and cinnamon donut. So for the theme, so far, I give the KARINA GARCIA 1 point, which means Guava Juice, 0. Net! So as you guessed, we're going to be scoring both of them and see which one comes up with the highest score. And of course, I wouldn't be salty unless I had a list. Remember, if you want a shout out in my Friday videos, don't forget to hashtag Nerdification Squad in the comment section below within the first 45 minutes of a video's release, or hashtag NerdECrafter on Instagram or Twitter anytime with any of your creations. All right, let's start with the scent. So the first score went to the actual theme over here. The second thing I want to test is whether or not they smell like the things they claim they do. So let's start with the Craft City one. I know some people would be like, yeah, but Jackie, coffee is not a scent for children. As a kid, I remember the smell of coffee, so it's kind of nostalgic waking up in the morning. So I would argue it depends on your household. Let's go with coffee first. And the top really kind of looks like coffee. That is so weird and so neat at the same time. So from this distance, I don't smell anything. Oh wow, that really smells like coffee. Oh wow. And I think it's pretty cool. I don't know if this is on purpose, but that there's the swivel. We're gonna talk about consistency later because that kind of tore. Now on to the cinnamon donut. So there's sprinkles on the inside. That's pretty neat. So we had the kind of frothy bits of coffee and then we have sprinkles. We won't touch it just yet. But in terms of the smell, it definitely doesn't smell like cinnamon donut. And trust me, I am a huge fan of cinnamon. I love cinnamon. It has more of a pumpkin-ish latte smell as opposed to an actual donut, but it does have this sweet scent to it. So I'm gonna put this on the side and revisit after. So let's see now Guava Juice. Dear Guava Juice products, you and I, we don't get along, but let's pretend for today that there are good intentions. Enough dabbles. I don't know what that is, but it's something now. Let's open and see whether or not the smells in there are reminiscent of the packaging of maple syrup and blueberry. You cannot escape the fact that I am Canadian, so maple syrup is in my blood. I know exactly what maple syrup is because every Canadian is actually baptized in maple syrup, just so you know. Okay, upon first glance, both of them seem to be pretty plain as opposed to the sprinkles in one of these. We have a fluorescent blue for the blueberry. And time for our whiff. Oh. It does not smell like blueberries. So it does smell like blueberries, but the smell is so intoxicatingly sugary that it's actually like giving me tickles in my throat, and not the good kind of tickles. Like on the inside, it feels very invasive. It does smell like blueberries, but extremely synthetic, extremely strong. It's almost like, I don't know, 15 bags of sugar into some blueberry. Because even popsicle smells less sweet than this. And next one is maple syrup. Time for maple syrup. Okay. It does have a faint smell of maple syrup, but again, there's this lingering, very synthetic smell to it. I know I know they're synthetic. Stop! But you know when there's this extra synthetic smell that just kind of hits you in the wrong part of your brain? That's what it is. So there is maple syrup scent, but there's also this underlying smell of something else, which we didn't have with the coffee and cinnamon donut. They're obviously synthetic, but they're not as unpleasant. They really were pleasant to sniff without really invading your brain. The point for scent goes to Craft City, KARINA GARCIA. The next scoring will go into visual, which means how pleasant does it look. And again, to this one, I would have to automatically give it to the KARINA GARCIA Craft City one, simply because, whether on purpose or not, the coffee looks really great on top, like the froth of coffee, and the cinnamon donut has sprinkles inside. Whereas if we look at the guava juice ones, maple syrup is pretty plain. As an avid maple syrup lover, a few things could have been added in there. Sprinkles in the shape of leaves, or maybe to have the idea of a pancake, small pieces that would look like butter. And the blueberry as well is extremely plain, no glitter whatsoever, no actual little pieces. So we could have had at least sprinkles in the shape of little balls so that they look like blueberries. So far, KARINA GARCIA 3, guava juice 0. Time for the consistency test. Scoop that out of there. So far it's breaking. My guess is because the room is pretty cold, so let's warm it up a bit. Alright, so I kept it warm for about 5 minutes in my hands. It's a lot more malleable, a lot more easygoing, and you could do the thing that you guys like doing. That thing. You could stretch it. Aha, not too fast. So it still has this tendency of kind of wanting to tear. You probably just need to play with it a little more. Is it melty? The answer is yes. Now time for the cinnamon donut. All right, I had to turn the camera back on. I was gonna heat it up first and then show you, but just look at the difference between the coffee and the cinnamon donut, how that one just came out in one piece straight from the container. I didn't have to try and coax it or break it. It needs a little warm up. Oh my God, those sprinkles feel so good. So I'm gonna warm it up. Sprinkles are falling a little bit, but so I've been trying to warm it up for the last 5 minutes, and at some point it does work, and then other points it just wants to tear, but you can see over here it's starting to tear. I just felt the rip. So it's not as stretchy as you might want it to be. The sprinkles, well, they fall. That's a normal thing that they do, but it really is not that stretchy. You see, I'm waiting for it to fall, and it's pretty slow at falling, but it's doing it just very slowly. Can we make the sounds? Yeah, but not as much. So now let's compare those with the guava juice ones. Are they ready straight out of the pack, or do I have to try and warm them up? Let's find that out. All right, so we have the same consistency, same kind of stubbornness as the coffee one. Oh, that one's softer. Yeah, way more malleable than the coffee ones or the KARINA GARCIA so far. All right, so I've been playing with this for the last 6 minutes. It is a lot more stretchy, but it does have its moments, again, as you can see, where it wants to tear. It honestly feels like they're both exactly the same. No surprise, they are made by the same company. Brandable makes them both, but let's see on the fall test. This one is falling way more quickly than the previous one. And the sound that y'all like, you got it. Now for the blueberry. So essentially both of them have that same feeling where they're a little stretchy sometimes and then other times very tearable. So I would give them both the same score. So in that case, 0 for both. This smell is extremely nauseating. Can we remove 1 point from guava juice? Let's put it at -1. But yeah, in terms of consistency, they're both the same thing. One was stiffer, the other one was looser. They're still very putty-like, not so much slime-ish. I don't understand you guys when it comes to slime, because sometimes you're like, needs to be gooey.
No, you're doing it wrong.
No, it is not wrong. You are the one that's wrong.
So yeah, this is already made, and I feel like it's just way more stiff than what I would have expected from slime. The next thing I want to look at is branding. These YouTubers actually respect who they are as YouTubers and are selling things based on who they are. Let's first look at guava juice. So these colors are not very guava juice-y. The scent in there, also we don't have much of a guava juice. I mean, if you're gonna have breakfast, you could have juice for breakfast, so why not make it guava juice or orange juice or something juice, because that is your name, your brand. On the side, we do get to see his face, and he is very iconic for exaggerating He is pretty sensational, pretty exaggerated on a lot of things, so we get to see that face on the side of the box. Generic message, as he always does in all his packs. Social media, and that's about it. For the Craft City Karina Garcia one, we do see that she does have her look on the side, which she's known to be pretty sweet and easygoing. But other than that, I don't really see anything that makes this Karina Garcia other than the fact, which is a big importance, it is slime. Slime and Karina Garcia are synonymous when it comes to her channel. So she is in fact working on her brand. So I would have to give this one to Karina Garcia in this case. I feel like throughout all of Guava Juice's products thus far, there's a bit of a confusion. There's no consistency or cohesiveness that brings them together to him as a person. I know the Craft City ones are not great kits, but we do have some kind of consistency with the theme and the creator themselves. And last but not least, let's look at price. For $8 each set, you're getting a handful of slime. I know a lot of you are going to talk about the price as being a factor of scammage. Of course, you can make your own slime, you can add your own scents, but if you really were to decide which one to get based on the price, then to me, obviously the clear winner, here are the scores, is the Craft City one. Because essentially they are the same-ish, but there are minor differences, major in some cases. So if I were in the market to get one or the other based on the theme of breakfast, I would hands down choose the Craft City one as a clear winner. So this was pretty much my chart. If you want to consult it, you can pause and look at it. It's nothing really that special. If you had to choose any of these scents, which one would you have chosen? Let me know in the comment section below. So overall, the breakfast theme definitely goes to Karina Garcia. Consistency, they're pretty equal. When it comes to the smell, the Karina Garcia one is way more bearable. Packaging and brand, it just seems like Karina Garcia's packaging and brand is more consistent overall throughout all the products. For the price, of course, when it comes to slime, you can make your own way cheaper. But if you're looking for something more consistent and interesting because it has texture and visual, I would go with the Karina Garcia one. So overall, if I had to rate the Karina Garcia breakfast bundle, I would give it a 6.5 on 10 dorks, because we're really not getting that much slime for $8. And if I had to rate the Guava Juice one, I would give it a 2 on 10 dorks. It is slime, you can play with it, but the smell is just way too distracting. Hey you! Did you know that only 0.4% of the human body is made of salt? Does that feel awfully low? I'm sure it makes you feel insulted. So why not turn that 0.4% into 100%? Because we have the perfect thing for you. Comes in hoodies and t-shirts for kids and adult sizes. And if you're not into clothes, mugs, and now stickers. Only available until November 17, which is this Saturday.
Cause when you're a grain, you come in like a hurricane.
Thank you so much for watching, Grains. If you want to see more comparisons of YouTuber products, let me know in the comment section below. If you want to see another salty video, check it out over here. And if you want to watch a crafting video, check it out down here. Until then, I will see you in the next video.